Introducing Bianca Louis. Bianca, a Haitian woman who is thriving in the hair care industry, business owner, mother, consultant. Bianca is ready to share her life journey thus far, how she is overcoming grief and sorrow, mourning the loss of both her mother and husband, relocating, closing her shop while continuing to provide alternative options for all of her customers. Join us on Sunday, September 29 at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Times for a delightful conversation with Madame Bianca Louis. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? Hopefully, you guys can hear me out. For today, we are Sunday, September 29, 2024. I already want to welcome everyone who is going to join in. I do apologize for being a little bit tardy, but I know that a lot of you are going to understand. It's been a little while since I did the series, and I decided to continue with it because, as you know, what we do with this conversation series, we are introducing people that we know everyday life, people that are just doing amazing work. As an entrepreneur, what I strive myself to do is to make sure that younger entrepreneur or people like myself understand that it's not necessarily a struggle and this work that we do, but it's also the networking, the people that we have in our environment, the people that we are, kind of like paying attention, the people that are actually doing superb work within their community. So, this is what this series is all about. It's all about bringing out people, mostly Haitian people, but it could be anyone that I judge that are doing some excellent work, or everyday life people that are just doing amazing work. And for today, I have the pleasure, the very deep pleasure of receiving the queen of natural hair. Bianca, I met Bianca over 10 years ago. She was actually a friend of an acquaintance. And at the time that I met Bianca, I had just started my natural hair journey here in Haiti, and it was a movement that had taken, so many young, old women were doing the natural hair here in Haiti. And the acquaintance that I had said, hey, I need for you to meet a friend of mine. She recently moved to Haiti and she actually opened a store, a natural hair store. I know that you do. Oh my God, it's raining seasons for us, and I think it's getting ready to rain. So we're gonna pray that it's not gonna rain, but just so you know. So yes, so he said to me, I really want you to meet that woman. I really want you to interact with her. She just moved to Haiti. She just opened a store in Haiti. She's doing great work, and you are going to love her. I am going to tell you how I met her. I don't even know if she remembers. So I go to her store one day. I decide to pop in her store with Viv here in Port-au-Prince. And the store was packed. When I tell you the store was packed, Bianca was probably one of the only person. I think it was her and someone else who were styling the hair. I remember at the time her mother was there. Her mother was at the register, and her husband was also, in the shop. She had her daughter in the shop as well. She was a lot younger. And when I got in, thinking that I was just, first of all, I didn't know that the store was going to be packed. So I come in thinking that I'm just going to greet her, thinking that I'm just going to say hello to her. Next thing that I know, Bianca looks at me. She knew that I knew how to do hair because I had a page on Facebook, and all I did was styling my hair and just post pictures of my hairstyle. So Bianca says to me, Rebecca, I need your help. Can you please come? I really, really, really need your support. Ou kapab ede just jump in. Koman se fetet pou mwen? Pa gen moun. Koman se fetet? And I just started to work. She just put me to work right then and there. And I started to style hair. All I did was asking her, okay, what kind of, she was like, just travail, just that was the first encounter that I had of her. True sisterhood, true Haitian woman. Her mother was just behind the register trying to figure out because people were getting their hair done. People were buying, people were shopping with her. It was a fun afternoon. I really did not come for that. I came to meet her and we worked, we talked, we laughed. Her daughter was just like having fun. It was a great experience. And for today, this is what I really want to bring to you because you guys know, if you didn't know, I still am in Haiti. I reside here. And the last 4 or 5 years have been hard for us. And unfortunately, with everything that's going down to Haiti, we tend to lose our focus. We tend to lose the people that we know that are doing amazing work. We tend to forget about those memories of our country, the good memories that we have, the work that we've done in our country. Some of us have lived in Haiti. We've, invested in Haiti. And because of the situation here, we kind of like are taking a step back. We are feeling like, maybe that's not it. We are thinking to ourselves that maybe we should be doing something else. But today I am extremely, extremely happy. I haven't seen Bianca in, let's see, I haven't seen Bianca in maybe 6 7 years. So I'm excited to receive her because from when I knew her, Revive didn't have any products. Now she has her own brand. She's doing amazing work. She moved back to the United States, and of course there's been different changes. So let's invite our beautiful guest. Let me invite her. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. The invitation, and we are going to start. Oh my God, look at your beautiful hair. Look at
You,
the
my love.
flow. Hello, my beautiful girl. How are you
I'm
doing?
good. How are you?
I am doing okay. I am doing okay. I'm
Your
not going
hair
to go
looks
ahead and say
amazing, by the way.
thank you so much. I knew that I was going to receive you. So I said to myself, I have to take my braids out. I have to put my fro because I knew that it was going to come with the beautiful hair. So I said, no, baka vini avec braids, lan cheveux moins, fok mwen mette fro. You look really amazing. So Bianca, I'm going to start. If you want to introduce yourself, I gave a little bit of a background as far as like who you are, how I met you. But if you have any other introduction that you want to give to the public about who you are, the floor is all yours.
Well, I don't know what you said about me, but I don't want to be repetitive. But anyway, I want to say hi to all of my friends and family that's on the call. And thank you, Daisy, for inviting me. I mean, we have been friends for a very long time. We met each other, I believe, like almost 15 years ago or 14 years ago when Waviv was opened. And so my name is Bianca. I mean, as we get to, do this interview, they will get to know more about me, but I'm a very simple person, and I have natural hair. I do natural hair products, and as this interview continues, you will get to know more about me. So I don't want to give too much right now, but I'm sure you give them enough to introduce me.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, actually, I was just telling them about the first encounter that I had of you when I came to your store. I don't even know if you remember. And then I came to just meet you because who introduced me to you was Gilbert. Gilbert Miongo is the one who said to me that, hey, I have a friend. She just moved to Haiti and I really want you to meet her. So when I got to your store, I went to your store the first time just to greet you. but you had a busy day. I believe it was a Saturday. The store was packed. You was doing hair. At the time, your mother was there. Your husband was also there. And you said, Rebecca, pour travail, oui, m'page mon avec non commencer faire cheveux. So that's how like I got introduced to you. So I was just telling them about that experience, about that moment, and just sharing, how it was so good to meet someone and instantly, I just connected with you. So Bianca, I shared with you recently that I lost my aunt. My aunt is also a mother. I would call her auntie mother because she literally I spent all my life with her. She is the person that I lived with when I stayed in the United States, and in those last 2 years, she lived with us here in Haiti, and we had some amazing, amazing time. She died recently, so I am presently going through the grieving process. I remembered when I contacted you to do the show, and you were in between moves. And I never knew that. I knew that you had lost your mother, but I was extremely unaware that you had lost your husband. So when you said to me, Rebecca, I lost my husband, I just couldn't believe it. You know, I remember feeling so shocked at the time. And what it did for me was in that moment, I remember how, sometimes if we're not interacting with people that we know, if we don't connect with other people, we're thinking to ourselves that we are the only one who's going through something. We are thinking to ourselves that, oh, who it's me. Oh, my life is not good. And in that moment, when you said that to me and you said, I will get back to you, I'm in between move, this is what's going on in the back end of my work, I was so shocked that I just couldn't talk because I knew that you had lost your mother. So just that experience, because now I am grieving someone that is close to my heart, I kind of really want to start. It's a little off, but I really want to start about the grieving process because, unlike me, you are a parent. So you do have not only yourself, but you have your children. You have your family. You have, I do believe that you might be the oldest. So you have younger sisters. I see you constantly posting about, your siblings. You have your children. You are a businesswoman. You went from being and living in Haiti to having closed down your shop here in Haiti, relocating back to the United States. And I just want to know, how are you doing it? How did you do it? How is the grieving process? What are your coping mechanisms? So this is where I really want to start.
Okay. Well, so how am I coping? I don't have a specific answer for that because I literally live day by day, right? If I was, I think I'm too, um, how would I say this? It's too soon for me to say here are the way that I'm coping because right now I think I'm grieving, and I think I take it day by day, and what that looks like for me, it's I have my days where I'm in bed all day. I have my days where I can't even believe it. I have my days where I wake up and I'm still thinking that Oliver is still around. And I have my days that I wake up and I'm angry. Um, I have other days I wake up and I'm just lonely. Um, just just angry. And now that you said, and I'm so sorry to hear about your aunt, by the way, I know we spoke about that. But now that you do know what it's like to lose someone close to you, unless you've been there, it's really not something that you could say. You know how people could call you, say, oh, I know what you're going through, or be strong, or you got this. And you just have all the things that you think you should say to someone, but it's until you go through it yourself, then there's no way that you know what this person's going through, right? So right now I'm still at the stage of anger, not disbelief, you know depression. I would say it out loud. Those that are close to me, they know that I do suffer from depression, just a lot of anxiety. But my main thing has been my God. right? Because for a very long time, I was angry with God. I was very angry because I said, I had lost my mom. I know that we all are human and we all have to go through it. We all have to lose our close ones. But I just felt like, why so soon? I'm still grieving my mom. It's two people that are very important in my life. It's like my mom and my husband, right? So it's kind of like I was very angry, and I didn't even know what it. I didn't even want to pray to God for a long time, right? Because I was very mad. But I found myself back in what I always believe in, which is my God. He's the only one that I could honestly talk to that would have no kind of judgment, no kind of judgment to say, you know, she's so annoying. She's always nagging. Because people would be there and they would be there at their best. They want to be there for you, but they have their regular lives as well. So sometimes you depend so much on people's attention and you wait for someone to be there for you. But I've learned to accept the fact that everybody else has a life, and the only person that's going to be there for me, regardless, even if my mom was still alive and my husband, is my God, right? So I have been profoundly invested in a relationship with God again, where recently, I'm able to manage things on my own. When I say on my own, with God guiding me, I'm able to manage those anxiety, this depression. I don't feel like I need to call anyone to tell them, oh my God, please stay on the phone with me. I'm having a panic attack. I'm this and I'm that, because I have had those moments for a very long time, not just recently when my husband died, but just way before that. For the past 7 years, I have been suffering ever since, almost 7 years, ever since my mom passed away. I haven't been the same. But I'm glad to say that with my new, not my new, but my deeper relationship with my God, I have been able to get better, right? So that's I don't know if I answered your question about how I'm coping, because I know I'm all over the place, and that's what grief does to you, right? You're all over the place. When you're grieving, your thoughts are not the same. You just, when you go to see a therapist, they're asking you, so what's going on? There's so many things going on that you just don't know how to pinpoint the right thing and the feeling. So I feel like right now it's fair to say that my God has been my main source of motivation, and I don't want to undermine those that have been very, very, very supportive of me. My friends, my family, some strangers that are new in my life that have been very supportive, my kids. I mean, it's been, I don't even have words for it. And I feel like right now and I'll say it, it's like I have become a burden. So I kind of withdraw myself, because it is exhausting for them too. The ones that do care for you, they don't want to see you that way. They don't want to see you in pain. But then at the same time, without them knowing, they would kind of start having this feeling about you, kind of like, oh my God, every time I pick up the phone, she's going to complain. Every time I pick up the phone, she's going to cry. I don't think I want to deal with her today, because you feel it. You're a human being. I'm a social worker, so that's what I did all my life. I've dealt with people for 18 years of my life, so I know. So my God has been my number one source. And if anybody has been going through the stuff that I'm going through, or even your own struggles, I would say to you that hold on to your God, because that's the only person, literally the only person that would be there, would not leave you, will give you the strength you need to continue going. Because if it was not for him, I promise you, I don't know how I would be here.
Thank you so much. And yeah, in this series, there are no right or wrong answer. Everything that you describe is everything that I am going through. This morning, it took everything to continue. I really just wanted to cancel the conversation. I didn't feel like getting up. I sometimes go, I don't want to eat. I get angry. I get sad. I am in a complete haze, like I can't believe she's not here. You are just, in my opinion, never prepared. It's a process where people can tell you, just as I assume becoming a mother, giving birth, it's an experience and a journey in itself that no one can tell you about. I feel the same way about grieving because yes, my aunt had aged. Yes, every single day I could see that her body was giving us something else, but you're just never prepared. You're never prepared for someone so close to you to just physically not be here. And this is coming from someone. I am very spiritual. I do believe in the dead. I do believe that your dead can talk to you, but even so, not having that person, the presence. And for me, it's even kind of like worse because I literally rearranged my life around her life those last 2 years because I was the only one who could work at home. So everything that I did revolve around her. Like waking up, the first thing is to make sure that she's up. Bonjour, ma tante Mireille, comment tout bagaille, ou en forme, go shower, go make my coffee. Before I go make my coffee, I have to go inside her room and say, "M'bral fe cafe," just to make sure that she knows what I'm doing. Like, for example, today when I'm live, I have to get up. I have to tell her, "Ma tante Mireille, m'bral fe travail, ou pa pou non jodi, you know, I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be doing that." Just so that she knows that she's not going to see me because in those last years, she also wasn't really walking. So she was limited. She was constantly in the bed, constantly, you know, or sitting down in her chair. So it the house feels cold. Everybody is kind of like, you know, the day of her passing, for 2 days straight, I was in a morbid anger. Nobody could talk to me. Sometimes you feel like you want to fight. You know, you feel it's just so much. And one thing that one thing that suits me is that she died in front of me, and as she was dying, I was able to talk to her. So it's to me, I feel like at least I was able to be here because I could only imagine if I wasn't there here, and then I come back and they tell me that she's gone. Like I could only imagine what that would look like for me. So that's the only thing that I just say, at least as she was dying, I was in front of her and I was talking to her. You know, I could, the body was shutting down and I was literally talking to her. I thank her so much. And I said, "Ma tante Monjo, merci, merci, merci." You know, all I could do was just thank her for everything that she's ever done. And I know that she heard me and I could feel her body relax because she was also fighting with death. And I said, "It's okay. It's okay." I said, "Ou kowa merite al dormi, ou met ale." I said, "Ou met ale." I said, "Tout travail, tout force ou lan mwen." So I just, every time that I think about that, I'm like, at least she went with some sort of peace because she knew that, you know, I thank her, you know. But I didn't attend the funeral. There was no way. I just couldn't, you know. The next thing, he didn't tell me, I just can't do funeral. So I just couldn't say, but we already had that talk. I had already told her that I just don't think that I would go to the funerals, and she already knew that. And also, one thing about me that I've noticed, because those last 2 years I've lost many people that are close by, I just refuse to wear dark clothes. I don't want to do that. I don't want to wear black. I may wear white, but I prefer red. Red signifies, in my opinion, and I did say that if I, you know, for the after funeral event, I wore red as well. Because to me, red is victory, and I claim victory in death. And I decided that with her death, I'm not mourning. You know, she's lived, she's done her job. I claim victory over that death, and I claim victory in her passing through. So that's why I just choose to wear red, just to also uplift my soul, not to mourn and not to feel very morbid. So everything that you said, and also I can feel like I'm not short tempered, but I'm kind of like irritated. That's the word. Like sometimes I'm just very snappy. I'm very kind of like irritated with people. I feel like, you know, I can't repeat myself too much because it's kind of like, oh my God, like I already said that. So you definitely go through an array of emotion. I know how much you loved your mom. When your mom passed away, I did write, you read it, but you know, like you said, I guess you didn't know what to say back. So there was no reply, but I do understand. One thing that I find in this grieving process is that I really dislike for people to tell me, how are you doing? It's like, how do you think I'm doing? Don't ask me that question. I just almost hate for them to ask me that question. Like, are you okay? First of all, I don't want any pity. I have to work. I'm still an entrepreneur. I don't have a job, so I have to continuously create. That's one thing. So no matter what, I got to put my best foot forward. The second thing is like, how do you think that I'm doing? Like, how do you think? The most that you could do is just tell me, hey, just saying hello, have a good day. I'm good with that. But I just find like when people, first of all, keep calling me and tell me don't cry, it aggravates me. It aggravates me to the max. I don't want to hear that. Or if they say anything like, how are you doing? Don't ask me how I'm doing. I literally lost like my mother, so I don't, how do you think that I'm doing? So those are the two things. And also I do find that I appreciate kindness, but not pity. I don't want your pity. I don't want you to feel like, woo, 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 no, we got this, but I'm not okay. I'm not fully okay. So everything that you said is exactly how I feel. And I remember your husband. Your husband was the life of the party. He had a big personality. Every time he came to review, he was a joker. He loved to have little jokes. Your son looks just like him. We're not going to stay in that because I don't want to get you sad, but I just couldn't believe it when you said that to me. I was like, wow. And to think, I remember saying to myself, and to think that I'm thinking that life is going crazy for me. Look at someone who's lost two. Like, those are the pillar, your mom and your husband. And your husband, I've always seen him very supportive of all your, and everything that you've done, he's always been around. I've never not seen him in anything that you're doing. So that is also a very great supporter. So, and you explain, this was a sudden death. So I sympathize and I can only imagine. So I really want to thank you, because one thing that kept me going for the conversation today was because I knew that I would get some type of a support from someone like you. Because I'm always like, I don't want to talk to people, I'm staying inside, so I said, no, put your best foot forward. Just talking to her is gonna, it's going to uplift you, it's going to make you feel good. So thank you so much for coming here and for accepting to do this conversation with me. I truly appreciate you.
Of
So
course.
moving
I
now,
I want to add
we
something
are
because I want to add something.
sure.
Say that you don't want to keep talking about it because you don't want to make me sad. The thing is, talking about it is what helps, right? So just besides anything, I do hear a lot of grief and a lot of, because I know it just happened to you and there's no timing. I lost my mom 6 years ago and I'm still suffering from it. The thing is, the people that try to show up for you, because I hear you and I hear you said that, it's don't ask me how I'm doing. How do you think I'm doing? So them not understanding, because maybe some of them have lost somebody that they know, or somebody they know, it's not somebody close to them. They're just trying their best to be there for you, right? But they really don't know how to be there for you. So a lot of people sometimes they don't call at all because they say, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not ready yet to call you because I don't know what to say to you, right? So you have those people. And again, all of them are people that want to be there for you, but they just don't know how to deal with it themselves, right? So when they ask you how you're doing, is because if you could think of us before maybe you've gone through your trauma, if you had somebody that lost someone close, you call in and say, hey, I'm just checking in on you. How you doing? Right? So it's kind of like, what do we learn from this? Is there a good way? Is there a best way to ask somebody? There's really not a best way. What I always say, it really depends on the person. Now that you said this, I'm sure that I'm gonna call and I'm never gonna ask you how you're doing, at least not now. I'm gonna start talking to you about things. Hey, how's your day? Like, are you doing this and are you doing that? My thing have been just, so there's those people, right? So funeral happens, they're there. They're there every day. We know that. They check on you all the time, and then you never hear from them again. Those people also, It's forgiven. You don't hold any grudges from them. But in life, as you go through your grief, people start disappearing. So if I had like people, like 10 people in my hands, now I probably have two. And that's okay because that's part of growth. I don't hold any grudges from anyone, and I'm talking about family to friends. It's not just friends or strangers, it's every single person. Because what I remember, what I keep putting in my mind is that everybody's going through their own things, right? So I lost my husband, I lost my mom, but somebody else could just be losing a job, and that's as a big deal, as much as a big deal to them than that is to me. Or somebody is just going through their own stuff. They're sick or whatever it may be. So I just tend to remember that, and that's part of my healing. Because before I was holding that and that was hurting me more, right? So when I was thinking of this person, like, how could this person not know that they need to call me? I'm not okay. This is someone, because I've always been the person to be there for every single person. I've sacrificed my whole life for a whole lot of people. And I would do it all over again because that's just who I am. So when my time came around, people were there a month, 2 months. They're just there temporarily. And there's those that you expect for them not to always be there, but there's those that you expect at least to understand I am still grieving. You don't think that it's been almost a year and like, okay, well, she's over it now. But now the reason I'm able to heal and be better and not be bitter is because I've let go of all those. I've let go of this person didn't call me. This person is not there for me as much as they used to. This person, because it's nobody's business or it's nobody's responsibility to be there for us. It's only our own responsibility to get better. Only us could do it. Your own self and your whatever relationship you may have with the higher power, that's it. Not your kids, not your mom, not your dad, not your sister, not your friends, not your best friend. Nobody's responsibility is to take care of you. Until you realize that, you grow so much and you let go of so much anger and you're able to heal better. So that's been my journey with this. So, you know, to say this to you, because it sounds like, of course, you are going through it. When somebody calls you to say, how are you doing? Just try to not literally take it like, oh my God, what do you mean, how am I doing? But you're still at the beginning. So I get it because that's how I used to be too. But I'm just letting you know it will get better. You will learn to understand that everybody that's doing that is coming from a good place. They're coming from a place of caring, and they really don't know how to be there for you. And sometimes hearing your irritation or being, because my attitude, forget it. People always call me like, what? Like I'm not in the mood. Everything was about me, how I felt, because I felt like the world was collapsing on me. And it's kind I would tell people, this is not about you right now. How can you get mad at me? This is not about you. This is about me. And so I was never really letting go, and I would never heal if I kept thinking that. So now that my only source of anything has been my God, I have let go of so much things. And literally, if somebody knows me, they'd be like, well, Bianca doesn't reach out anymore. She's mad. I'm not mad. I literally have let go of so many things that I'm starting to be happy. Not happy like, I'm having a happy life. I'm starting to know what it's like to breathe again, because for a long time I have been saying I am not living, I'm breathing. And that's a sentence that I've been saying for a long time. Those are close to me, they always hear me say, I am not living, I'm breathing. And that's ever since my mom passed away. So I literally go by day. As selfish as this could sound to someone, because they may say, well, she has two kids. Yes, I keep going because of my kids. But don't forget that we are also human being, right? You cannot just want to keep going for someone else. You have to want to keep going for you. If you don't want to keep going for you, how can I project anything to Chloe and Giovanni, like my kids? I can't do that. So I was in a mental state of mind that was so dark. Not saying that I'm completely out of it, but I'm starting to see the light, and that light is forgiving a lot of people, even my husband. That has nothing to do with this. The poor man died, and I was angry with him. I was angry with him because, he died of a motorcycle accident. And I used to always tell him, I hate that motorcycle, don't ride it. Because I cannot deal with anything else. My husband dealt with cancer for a very long time. And so I was, we were already dealing with that, and he was in remission. So, I told him I cannot deal with anything else. I've been dealing with too much. And I was angry at him, but that's all part of grieving. Someone would tell you, well, how can you be mad at him? Well, that's part of grieving, right? I'm mad that he did this and he left me here with the two kids. I'm mad that he's no longer here and he won't see my kids do certain things. I'm mad that he's not here and see me do certain things. I'm mad that he didn't get to do certain things. But that was his time, right? And the way that I've been saying is, maybe it would have been worse if he was still around. Maybe the cancer would have been more aggressive this time. So I have been doing so many things on my own without having to reach out to a therapist, to a friend, to a family, that I am getting my own healing by doing that, by letting go of that anger that I had, that letting go of resentment from some people, letting go of that. And I truly am finding my peace within that. So you also will do it if you start. I would hate for you to drag on for as long as I did. So I'm giving this to you. I'm passing it on to you as something that you could start doing now for yourself so that you don't harm yourself as much as I did for a long time.
Wow, thank you so much. This was the conversation that was needed. God doesn't make any mistake. To think that we were supposed to work on the 15th, and the 15th was supposed to be this next day after the funeral. So probably I was thinking to myself that I was just gonna boss up and do it. But on the 15th, I stayed all day in bed. So I probably would have not even been able to do it. And we're doing it on the 29th, which is almost the 3rd of October is going to make it 1 month. So it's kind of like now the reality has set in because now she's not here, you know. The room is cleaned up, her clothes are packed, her chair, everything that she had is no longer there. They've removed it. So now it's like waking up, and I still go to the room. I still try to, I walk around the house, and you just hope. And I'm like, at night, the same routine. I would go into the room to try to check on her, and it's kind of like I still kind of do these things. It's probably going to take some time. And what you said about, it's kind of like I block a couple of people who just haven't. I just felt like they didn't reach out. But one of them, I meant to block her, and she recently sent me a message, and she started crying. She said, I just didn't know what to say. She said, I knew that you took care of your aunt, and I know how much you love your aunt. So I just, when I heard, I didn't know what to say. So I couldn't call you. I said, I'm not gonna call. I said, let me wait until after the funeral. So it kind of like when she left the voicemail, I realized that sometimes people don't know what to say to you. They don't. Not everybody can say the right words. Sometimes people don't know that. And like you say, I find that I can be someone who's so empathetic when someone is going through something deep. Like I do have that gift where I have the right words and I know what to say, but not everybody is just like you. Not everybody can say certain things to you. Even amongst us. I live with my parents and my sister was there, so it really wasn't pleasant because we all had our emotions. I was I am very angry at them. I just felt like they knew that she was sick, something should have been done. But by the time they came back to the house, it was too late. She was already gone. So it's like, a lot of hate. I just, this is where I'm at. I'm not even gonna like say resentment. I just feel like the same way that I saw it coming, everybody saw it coming, but you guys didn't do as much as I would have done. You know, everybody just went about their day, their work, their day to day life. And, that morning I just knew that. I don't know, I just knew that, she was not going to stay because her body was literally almost gone. So it's a lot of emotions. I appreciate everything that you said.
Of course.
I do know that I really probably either will need to travel or take a break from the house because one of my aunts, she talks to me constantly. I allow her to talk to me. She writes to me. These are people who I could confide in when my aunt's, health started to decline. So I could confide in them. So I just feel a lot more safe with them because I just feel like they know how I feel. I tend to not want people to know my true feelings. So they knew how I felt. So with my aunt, she was saying that to me. She's like, it's going to be harder for you because you're actually in the house. You're not outside of the house. Every day it's kind of like you're still doing the same routine. So maybe you might want to get out of the house for a little while. Maybe you might want to leave the country for a little while just to like kind of like balance yourself out. So most definitely this is something on my mind. So thank you so much. I just love this conversation.
And
It's
it's
just
okay, Daisy, it's okay for you to be vulnerable. I want you to know that. That's one thing that I've always been hiding because I've always tend to try to act like I've got this, right? I'm tough. I grew up with a mom that's always been very tough, with a father that was in the army that's always been very tough. So the emotions, even though my mom was more emotional, emotional has nothing to do with you being tough, with you being strong. If she was very expressive and she was very, more vulnerable and more outspoken than my dad was, but still, she was a very strong lady. So my upbringing just led me to be this person that I tend to not be as open as maybe as I would love to. But one thing that I did learn during this process is to be as vulnerable as you can be. Because listen, when we are behind scenes, right? We're not saying to be vulnerable and open up to everybody and let everybody in and just, just put yourself at risk to be more hurt. I'm talking about being vulnerable in the sense that it's okay to reach out for help. For many years, I said, why am I going to reach out to a therapist? I know exactly what they're going to tell me. I tried therapy. I know what it's like. I studied, social work. So I know what it's like to start talking to somebody and to, I don't know what that was, but okay. I know what it's like to provide the tools and the resources. So I would already put in my mind, I'm gonna go there and this person is gonna annoy me because they're gonna start talking about kumbaya and start saying, oh, do yoga and breathe and forget it. I didn't have time for all that, right? But now that I'm more open-minded to things, now that God has enlightened me in so many ways, I am open in so many ways to wanting to get better. So you will get you will get to that point. And like I said, there's a reason why you were the one that was with your aunt and nobody else. Because I heard you say, you're angry at this person because they were not there. Well, guess what? You were chosen. God chooses each of us for a reason. I used to say, why am I the one with the sixth husband for 7 years? Why am I the one that cannot take a breather? Why am I the one that has to do this for this person? Well, you know what? Because I'm special. We're Each of us are very special, but I'll talk for myself. I'm special. That's why I'm going through this journey. I'm going through this because God has chosen me to be putting me through all this, I would say, challenges in life so that when I come out, I'm able to help those like you. Because if you were talking to me 9 months ago, I would be just telling you the same thing. Girl, yeah, why are they calling us? It's annoying. Why are they asking us how we doing? I would not even be able to help you the way I'm helping you now. And now I'm sitting here looking at you and I'm seeing the growth in me by just looking at you. And I'll explain what that means to you. You are at the beginning stage and it's totally normal. But what I would tell you is take that in and think about it very deep. It's not easy. And I'm saying this to you. I'll probably be in bed today crying. I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm saying that I have my days now where I'm able to help myself more than I used to be, right? So, one thing is don't dwell on what somebody is not doing. Don't dwell on what somebody is doing. Dwell on what you're doing for yourself. Because if you put so much focus on why did I have to do this, because I find myself saying that a lot. Why did I have to be the one making that sacrifice? Why did I have to be the one doing this? And it makes me angry because when we think about it, what does it do? It makes you angry. It makes you be like, why? Why me? Why? I always ask myself, Oliver was in remission. Why wasn't it now his time to enjoy life? He finally was in remission. Why wasn't it a time now that we could actually work on our marriage? Because all those 7 years of sickness and everything that we've gone through has put a lot of strain in a marriage. When I'm saying that, I'm not saying in the sense that, you know, I would have never walked away from my husband, because that's not who I am. I would have done it all over again. What I'm saying is that it does have an impact on your marriage, because now I became more of a caregiver than a wife. I was more like someone that was like, I got to take care of you. No, 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 I don't have time for this. And that's not what he was looking for. So, of course, when you start thinking about those things, it really has an impact on you. And now you start having all these regrets, right? We could dwell on things for so long if we keep going and going with it. But then one thing I no longer want to do is depend on somebody else for my own happiness. I won't do it anymore. I did it for many years. I did it with so many friends and family members, and I choose not to do anymore, not because I'm angry, but because I'm no longer angry. That's how I'm able to do it. So I hope in we could move forward to the next thing that we have to talk about. But I'll say this to you again: take that as a lesson learned. And there's a reason why we were not able to do our call the last time. I think we've canceled a couple of times. There's a reason why you started with this question, because I know that this is the interview that you had for me, and you had to ask me questions, but literally God is using me to talk to you in this interview, because you recently are going through it. You are still going through it. You're grieving, you're mourning, and you're in pain. And I feel it. I feel it through this interview. That's why he's using me today, specifically on the 29th, to be there and to teach you exactly what I've learned through this, right? So I think that's my mission, and I'm gonna continue doing it. My mission is to be now someone that's able to help those that are mourning, to help those that lost their husband, their moms, whoever it may be. That's my mission, to be able to reflect now and help you guys, so that you guys don't suffer, because there are consequences to holding on for so long. My consequences have been physical pain. They have been, my friends make fun of me like, oh, what hurts you again now? Because I'm always in pain. All that is, they say it's psychosomatic pain. I'm like, it's not. I feel the pain. I go to the doctor every 2 days because I have a pain. Well, guess what? Everything that I've done, all the results that I've gotten, thank God, have been negative. What does that conclude? It concludes that I'm holding on too much. The pain on my neck, on my shoulder, on my back. So when you hold on my stomach, my heart, all the things that have to do with emotions, when you hold on too much for so long, it has consequences. And let me tell you, I've been holding on for a very long time with my mom's death, my husband's sickness, and my husband's death. So it's a lot to carry. It's a lot to carry, but I'm glad to tell you that I'm willing and I want to help you get through it. And I don't want you to put that strain for so long on yourself, because it does have consequences to your health. So take it, utilize it. I don't know if you believe in God also, but I'm telling you, let go of those people that's not there for you. Let go of those that's making you angry, and just think about the memories with your aunt, and just embrace that and start working on yourself and how you could be better, so that you're not deep into this depression.
Oof, my God. I just wish that I could hug you. You don't even know. This morning, I was just telling myself, because before my aunt passed, she couldn't hold her neck anymore. And the doctor said it was from her being so scared of falling, because that's one thing that's why when she stopped walking, it wasn't like she couldn't walk. She was just so afraid to fall, and she just didn't want to walk anymore. So we couldn't force her to walk. But then it's kind of like her neck became so stiff from everything. And I just recently started to feel a lot of pain over here in my neck, my back. I do spend a lot of days sometimes where I'm just like in the bed as well. So I was just telling myself that, okay, I probably need to start moving around and getting some exercise done. But then now that you say it, it's kind of like, it's probably also a lot of anger, because my aunt, one thing that she used to always tell me, because she was my confidant, I would vent to her about everything. You know how like aunties are the best, like you could be as close as you want with your mom, but some aunties, you go to them when you go into it with some of your parents. right, or a sibling. So my aunt, she was that person. She was that potomitan where all of us, like especially me, I would be, talking to her and just kind of like venting and say, "Oh, gare sa fem, gare ki that." And my aunt always counseled me. She used to always, she's the one who told me, if you don't let go of resentment and always saying that so and so did this to you, she was like, you're gonna have a heart attack. She was like, wap mouri oui wap fe ke parce que baka kimbe trop bagay an dan, bagay sa yo a konsume yo. She used to tell me that ya bo cancer, ya fo malade. So it's even, in the work that I do have an article when I talk about that. It's one of those articles where I talk about, our mental health and how certain doctors, especially American doctors or people who only believe in certain type of medicine, they are quick to give people, pills, but if the emotions is not there, if you're just carrying too much, you're not releasing, you're not doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, these are the things that turn around and give you a lot of sickness. They give you physical ailment a lot of the times. So just hearing you talk, because this morning, because when I went to take my shower, my back was killing me. So just telling me that, okay, if you hold on to those emotions, they may turn around and give you some ailment. And now I could hear my aunt telling me these things as well, like packing baby girl. So I mean, it's too soon to say that I'm gonna like forgive, because but I will use all the tools that I have in my disposition, whether it is that some of the work that I do on myself with other people, and just kind of like also be kind to myself, maybe take it day by day, also allow myself to feel those emotions that I'm feeling. I don't want to rush through them. I want to feel okay that I'm angry.
Yeah.
Like you said something that was so powerful to me, because you said you were there with your aunt because that's what God wanted. And I really believe so. My aunt died in the presence of three people who cared about her, who cared for her. Two of them were people who were literally caring for her, bathing her and everything, and myself. So she died. I just felt like that's the way that it was supposed to be. I feel like God didn't want her to die in front of everybody in the house. Maybe if everybody was there, I would have not been able to really talk to her in the manner that I've talked to her. I just felt like we had a deep conversation, me standing in front of her and talking to her as she was, passing away. Like I could see the body going into a different stage. And, just this time around, I just felt like I had to let her go, because last year she gave us a big scare and we fought. And, she ended up in the hospital and everything, and she came back to us. But a year, I knew the body wasn't the same. Her body was literally fragile. So I just knew as I was talking to her, I just kind of like knew that it would have been selfish to fight with death this time around. I just knew that it would have been really selfish. She was very unhappy at the end because, she couldn't care for herself. This is a woman who raised my mother. So she is a woman who is used to just going about her day. This is not, the type of old people who just want to sit around and let people take care of her. So at the end, those last 4 or 5 months, my aunt was extremely unhappy. She was not happy. So I knew that I had to let her go. Otherwise, it would have been very, very selfish to want her to be here with me when she was not happy. So, I told her it's okay. I'm okay with that. But now looking back, there are moments that I wake up, I'm like, maybe I should have not said that. Maybe I should have fought. Maybe I should have like, just hold on. You have a lot of things in your mind. But no, we can talk about this all because like I said to you with those conversations, I just never know how they're gonna turn around, and I never know, and I'm okay with it. I want people to understand that this is a series that I do, and I gain so much from it, from my guests. I learn, it's just refills, it's amazing. And Bianca, now that we are in we are talking about this. We are the both of us are not only Haitian women, but the both of us have lived in Haiti. The both of us are business women. So I don't even know how to say it. Like, I lost my aunt, and last year I lost my cousin, and the year prior to that, her husband had died. So those are three people that were close to me. And for my aunt, I'm literally processing, trying to process her death. My cousin, I don't even want to talk about that. And I'm looking at the Haitian people and the level of death that has happened in the country of Haiti. And I don't know how Haitian people are coping, if they are coping, if they understand what's going on from, those last 3 years, having people relocate, having people, I mean, I've been here for all this time. I don't think that as a, I really don't know. I don't think Haitian people are coping at all. I don't think they know how to cope. I don't think that we are a people that take time to cope. I feel like we are so, because for me to cope, at least, like I said, I still have to get up, I still have to put in the work. But there are days where I cannot do anything, and all I do, I just curl in the bed. That's all I want to do, stay with a good book. But then I can't do that because guess what? I still have electricity, I still have water, I still have the internet. So when you think about, you know, Haitian people who don't have that, they gotta get up, they gotta hustle and bustle. It's a scary place to think as a nation, as a country, and you had to leave. So on top of everything, you had to close down your shop and relocate because of the situation here in Haiti. So I kind of want you to talk to me about that, about, first, if you are okay to walk us through, because I don't know the story of Revive, how you founded it, how it came about, as well as the reason behind you coming to Haiti and opening your business in Haiti. And then you can walk us through, you know, going back to the US and having to close down shop because, yet again, of the political situation in Haiti. So that's kind of what I would want us to talk about.
Okay. Um, my reason to go back to Haiti, it's actually I left Haiti. I was forced out of Haiti when I was 10 years old. So that's my reason to go back to Haiti, right? So I'm someone that's very, I wouldn't say rebellious in that way, but people don't tell me what to do. That's always been my attitude. So it's kind of like I was forced. I watched my father that was in the army. My family had to literally, in a matter of days, you know, along with many other families that went through this in 1995, had to literally pack up and leave, right? So everybody that was in the army was ruptured under the Alcide regiment, and we each were sent somewhere, right? So my family and I were sent to Paris. So I was just 10 years old when this happened. And I remember leaving my friends behind and leaving my country and leaving everything that I've ever known. So that was a trauma right there, right? So the trauma started for me at a very young age. So when we left Haiti, my father had to, so we went, we'll fast forward things. We went to Paris and we didn't really like it. And we were not really adapting to the cold and how things were there. So we moved to Miami, and my father ended up staying there a little longer. But growing up in Miami, I've always had friends that were Haitian. I always, to this day, I've been in this country for already 30 years now. And some of my friends always say, "Oh my God, you're the most Haitian person I've ever met," right? So I felt like I never left my culture behind. I never left who that 10-year-old girl that left Haiti never really left, right? It's still in me. So I always said that I always wanted to move back to my country, always did. And when I met Oliver, and he was at the time in Miami, then he relocated to Dominican Republic. I remember having conversation with him and saying that, when he's done and when he gets his degree, he wants to move back to Haiti. So I said, "Oh my God, this is the man I'm going to marry because this is what I always wanted to do," right? So fast forward, we had our kids, we got married, we bought a house here, and then in 2011, my daughter was just 18 months, my son was just 2 months. We had just bought the house, and obviously, if you just buy a house, your plan is to live in it for a long time, right? So Oliver and I decided, because he was still in the Dominican Republic, he was going back and forth, he had to finish school. We decided that we're going to move back to Haiti. And I hadn't been in the country at the time for almost, I think, 16 years. I can't think of the right number right now. So it was crazy to my family. Like, what do you mean you're moving back to Haiti? What do you know about Haiti? You were just 10 years old. But I love my country. I always knew that I had to be back in Haiti. I didn't see myself evolving anywhere else. So when I moved back, I remember reaching out to a couple of friends, for jobs and stuff like that, because I am in the medical field. So I did reach out to a very good friend of the family that was able to provide me with a job at skill centers, right? And this is where I worked for many, many years. And then while working there, I remember I used to have perm and my hair was very long. And at the time, I miss my friends, I miss my family in Miami, I miss my mom, I miss my dad, my sisters. So I was kind of like going through this thing. I was living with my in-laws who I absolutely adore, but it was a new transition for me, right? It was different. So now you're going from like, having no electricity, having this, and listen, I'm so grateful for that experience. I did it for 10 years and I wasn't complaining, but it was, oh my God, it was a little uncomfortable. So I went through like a little, I wouldn't say depression, but a little uneasy moment. And I remember going to the beach one day with my in-laws and Oliver, and I was growing my hair out. And I had like maybe 3 or 4 months that I didn't permit. But I just didn't permit, not with the intentions of going natural. I just did it. My sister at the time, my older sister, she did go natural. And then I remember I came back from the beach and I just went in front of the mirror and I just cut all my hair. So I had this much hair. I looked literally like my hair was way shorter than your hair now. Like it was literally like a man, like really, really low. So I remember my mother-in-law coming saying, "What did you do to your hair?" Oliver didn't know. When he came home, he's like, "What is going on?" My son told me I looked so ugly. He hated it. Like my mom, I think I sent her a picture. I don't know back then if there was already like videos or whatever, but she was like, "Oh my God, like I'm coming to pick you up. You're going through depression." Like everybody was telling me how ugly I looked. So I didn't even care because when I did it knowing that, oh my God, this is something crazy I did again. Because moving back to Haiti for me showed me that I have no ties to anything. It showed me who I am, right? Because I worked in a company that's a secure company. I worked at South Miami Hospital for many years. So it's kind of like you leave that, it's a secure job to go back to a third world country. It's very uncertain. And it's like, what else can I do? Right? If I could do that, I could do anything. I'm superwoman. So I cut my hair and I was like, okay, I cut my hair. I did something new. And I remember at the time having a conversation because I knew my sister was natural, having a conversation with my husband. And I was saying, you know what? I think I want to open something here where, because I was having a difficult time embracing my natural hair, not embracing that my natural hair, just embracing how I looked with my natural hair because it had been many years since I had been natural. And when I was natural, my hair was still long, back when I was like a kid. So I said, I think I want to open something where I help women just embrace who they are, just embrace Ted Gunna, just embrace, like, because people always say, oh, li gen bon tip cheveux, oui, bon tip cheveux, c'est tête soie. To me, bon tip cheveux, c'est nous-mêmes. C'est tête graine là, right? Because we have so many different things we could do with it. Log it tête trois soie, I'm so sorry. If there's anybody in this call that have natural hair qui get tête soie, I love you guys. But I'm speaking for me, right? Log it tête trois soie, cheveux à tomber, ou ça bon pour le mouiller. You don't, to me, it's like, there's not a lot of creativity that you could do with it. So anyway, so I went and I found this store in Petronville that you went to, and then I remember I had a few friends of mine. We were looking for a store because we were selling clothes, but we're selling clothes out of like luggages. So we're like, okay, we need to look for a store where we could sell the clothes. So when I went with them, they said, you know what, we're not ready. We're not ready to make this investment to be paying rent every month. So we're not interested. I remember that day I ended up calling the lady that showed us the place and I said, I'll take it. So I said, okay, I'll take it. So she's like, if you want to take it, you got to go and put a deposit like tomorrow. I went, I put a deposit, let's say in May, right? I was paying that rent every month and I still didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, I knew I wanted to do something to empower women. Was I going to do like classes? Was I going to sell products? What was I going to do? So anyway, in September, after a few months, I ended up opening the store, calling Wiviv, and the name around that was, it had a lot of personal reasons, which I don't, I'm not going to share on the live. But one of the thing was I wanted everybody to come into the store and feel like they were revived again. They were reliving. Mwentre la, msati map vive. Because I come in and my hair is like this, and my hair may be short and I don't know how to wear it. My husband doesn't like it because it's not long. But you come here and you embrace your natural beauty. That was literally like our what is it called? Model, whatever it's called. So it was called like embrace your natural beauty. So we did that, but it was not supposed to be a hair salon. It was supposed to be just a hair store, right? And then we had someone that came when we opened. So if you remember how we were set up, we just had the store upstairs. We had the different products, and somebody came inside the store and said, "M'vin lave tête moi, oui?" And the manager and I looked at each other like, and then she goes, "Kote male." I had no, how do you call those things? No sink, no place past sink. No, you know what I'm talking about. The stuff to wash here. Somehow I'm having memory issue right now. I had none of that. It was literally just a store. So I told the manager said, no, 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 I said, mm-mm. Oh, wap la vek. She's like, oh, m sorti jiska fou. Ok, nou poko fè studio, hein? Mais sou pa gen problem, bra lave cheveux la toilette là, parce que n'a pou ouvri studio à mois prochain. So my manager looked at me like, what are you talking about, right? So that's how we ended up having a studio, because that was never supposed to be the thing. It was supposed to be just hair products. And then from there, and then we ended up doing a studio. But that's the secret. I mean, for those that never knew, that's the whole thing. Wiviv was never supposed to be a hair salon. And what I love about Wiviv is that we were very authentic, we're very organic. I did not have the fancy things. Ma blade cheveux moun la bokit. I did not have this, because you know what? That's the thing with me. I don't try to impress people. I do things as I can with my own means. So the means at the time, Unibank was not giving me enough money to open anything. I didn't have the money to open the store, but I was tenace. I wanted to do it. So what I did, le moun vini, listen, madam, pas gen problem. Se bo kit oui, na plage, ti so na plage, pas gen problem. So we started building a clientele just with washing people's hair from Bokit. I'm going to cuvette and fe pied moun. Nou get ti bagay nou. Come see, everything was very organic. And I tell them, loving we vive, pa gen ba, tout ba organic la. So people loved it. People loved the idea behind it. And that's how we had Weviv for 12 years. So Weviv is literally my baby. You know, I'm very attached to it in so many ways. I remember Oliver saying, listen, this thing is not even bringing you, after years, you know, how Haiti was, this thing is not bringing you any money. Why are you still doing this? There's something very special with Wivi, right? And I know that believing in something that you want, no matter the obstacles and no matter the failures that you may see as a failure, no matter the many times that you fall, I believe that you will come back up, but you have to push through. And that's how it is in life overall. Like if I was to give up the first time que Y ap tire roche, yo kaze vite, yo vole, yo rentre le magasin la nuit, yo vole caisse mwen, yo rentre sou nou. If I was to give up the first time, then there wouldn't be a with you for 10 years, right? There wouldn't be with you for so many of you guys that were our supporters and that were our clients. So I believe that this is how we started. So the beauty around all this is that if somebody wants to start something, you literally don't need to have all the money in the world to start something. As long as you have the drive and the passion, it will happen, right? So we did that for a very long time. In 2016, unfortunately, I moved back to Miami. And I say this unfortunately because Haiti is still in my heart. It's still a place that I believe that when my kids are older, I will move back if God give me the strength in life. I will move back because that's truly where my heart is. Um, but I feel when in 2016, when I had to move back because it was getting chaotic for the kids, we literally had nowhere to go with them but Giant Market with Caribbean. My kids were so satisfied with just going to a grocery store, and I wanted them to have more options. You know, it's like I don't want my kids to just think that this world, just the fun is around a grocery store. So we couldn't, you know, at the time we couldn't really go to the beach as much. It was just chaotic. I don't need to tell you guys how Haiti is. So we moved back. We moved back here. Moving back here, I have a very good relationship with the place where I used to work, South Miami Hospital. I actually went back there 6 times. It's a joke now. It's like, how many times have you left us now? Seven, six. But each time they take me back, and I'm so grateful for them. I end up going back to the hospital while incorporating a Viv online here with my husband, where we started making the products here in Miami and we started selling online. We did that for a very long time. And in 2018, the tragic of my mom's death happened, and I moved back to Haiti. So when I moved back to Haiti in 2018, my mind was really not on Revive. My mind was focused on trying to revive my mom's business with my dad because at the time, obviously, we're both going, all of us, my sisters, my dad, going through a lot of shock, and my dad could not have done it by himself. So I'm proud to say that I ended up staying behind with him to help him with the business. And I was not really focusing on Wiviv. So I think that's where Wiviv took a big hit because if you're not really present, your employees could be very, they're there, they do everything. They're the one that gets the ball rolling and they do everything for you. But I feel like there is something special that you bring as an owner, right? So I kind of, my focus was, like I said, on just helping my dad. So I did that for 2 years, going back and forth from Haiti to Miami. I was in the airplane every 2 weeks. My husband was undergoing chemo at the time, so I had to be there for my husband. I had to be there for my children. My daughter is extremely attached to me. She was suffering from me not being there. So it was another period of my life that was very hectic because I was always living in an airplane and I was always under pressure of be there for my dad, be there for my husband, be there for my dad, be there for my husband, be there for my kids, and not being there for Bianca. Just thinking about everything else. But again, I would do it all over again. I'm not complaining. So I did that and I ended up staying in Haiti for about 2 years. And in 2020, I moved back here completely. So my husband and I just kind of completely incorporated into an online store with the products. And we closed with Vive we closed with Vive like a year and a half ago. It was not doing well at all. I mean, all the clients had left, they had moved to Dominican Republic or the US, but I still had it open. I was still paying the rent because I still had an attachment to it. But yeah, that's how it was with Vive.
Wow. I mean, there's so much to unpack in everything that you said. The very first thing that I'm going to mention is that, girl, when you talk about loving your natural hair, that's just that. I've been natural for almost 20 years, but in those last maybe 13 years, I've been rocking different haircuts. And this year has been the first to grow the fro, and it's a little bit of a struggle, if I have to be really honest, because you really like. tout à l'heure, m'a fait cheveux, and I'm just détresse ses cheveux, ranger petit curls, yo, ranger petit curls, yo. And then you need the pick. You need that pick to give you that fluffy, that afro. But I'm like, oh, my fit, I can't. I'm like, my safe space is my fade. And I'm like, oh God, get him well fade now encore. Parce que, but the good thing, let me feel fairly, and then it's, I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, it looks really nice. And also, what makes it difficult to cut it this time around is because c'est moi-même qui fait. C'est moi-même qui grandi cheveux. So there's like a little bit of a connection, just the progress of seeing, okay, because, I've cut my hair many times, my hair grows pretty fast, but I keep telling people this, I've never been someone who really sits there and cares for my hair. Like, pay attention to what my hair likes, pay attention to the products. No, it has always been in the Haitian community. Remember Afro
Mm,
Alice? It has
mhm.
always been Afro Alice who used to give
Rest
those
in peace. You know,
deep,
no longer with us,
yeah,
right?
yes. She was the one who was giving those tips about sa pou moun utilize, sa ki la kayu, and I was mostly focused on the styles, like always different hairstyles. But now it's been 1 year that I was growing them, and the way the country was, nobody could move. A lot of us was just like locked inside the house. So this is when I learned to utilize what was in my house, kind of like the plants, going back to the basics. And I've seen tremendous thickness and growth from my hair. So it's kind of like it's very fun when you are taking care of your hair. It's really fun to have that connection with the hair, to see the progress. Like, I could really look at my hair and sense when it needs water. I could look at my hair and feels when it's completely dry. Nka omon pap kawe, but nka we le cheveux ma ba mon ti façon comme si la cassé, like, oh, from l'autre bagay, we get it from ajouton l'autre bagay la dan. So it's a nice connection. And when you said that, you have to really learn, because Bianca, we're going to talk a lot. Hopefully, like, you got a snack or something. But okay, when I think about 10 years ago, the way that the natural hair was so big in Haiti, we even had the natural hair event here in Haiti. I don't know if you were able to participate in it, but I was able to participate in it. And now, when I'm looking at the way and the wave that the wigs have taken the market, it's crazy. Everyone in this country, mpa kwe ke gen studio an Haiti ki fe cheveux, même moun ki gen permanent encore. Every advertisement that I see on Instagram with hair salons here in Haiti, many of them are talking about, three, like, lace frontal. Many of them are talking about, the type of weaves. So just in that, I'm seeing how we've completely, from a business perspective, the natural hair movement, the natural hair care, what people are doing with their natural hair, it has completely lost everything. And now everyone that I know, tout jeune si moun, tout grand moun, tout moun son lace frontal que yo gen nan tête yo. And it's like, bagay sa pa men bon pou Haiti, parce que sou vreman gade, moun yo pa gen kop, but they still find a way to put those lace frontal in. And it's kind of like, li manje tout devant chevaux. That's what you don't understand. And the majority of them are utilizing those wigs, but they're not even utilizing it in the manner that they're supposed to utilize it. You're talking about a country that is completely hot. This is a humid, a hot climate. How are you walking around with people with all those wigs? Are you actually caring for your natural hair under that wig? Are you letting your hair breathe? Like, there's so many things that I'm looking at the whole market. And this is aside from not even the natural hair. This is tout le monde have gravitated toward a wig. And as someone who really loves the beauty industry, and as someone who is extremely versatile with my hair, but as someone who understands now the business concept behind it, I'm looking at it like, did the natural hair community, I'll say everywhere because I do follow même mesdames qui te kon fè un pile natural hair on YouTube. Where did we miss out? But for me, I'm looking at it that the natural hair community really missed out on the marketing because what those companies, especially there are Asian companies, what they did is that, and I'm just, you tell me if I'm wrong, because I've been paying attention for some time. And the way that they went about it is, and to gain a, how can I say, to gain a, not a platform, how do you say it? To gain, not necessarily clients, oh my God, what's the word in English? Comme si moun que yo te perdu, you know, to gain those kind of people because they were paying attention into those movements. These people who are now doing a lot of the wigs, they were paying attention because the natural hair movement was extremely big. For me, I started it because I was watching a lot of YouTubers, and there was Yolanda Renee, there was Beauty Cut Right, there was Beautiful Brown Baby Girl. Took me down tie over here, down their back. They were big with the natural hair community, and then people started to really make product for natural hair because everybody was taking. But I feel like what the wig companies did and the way that they gain the market, that's it, they gain the market is by creating natural hair wigs. That's how they started. They started, oh my God, where did she go? They started by creating those natural hair. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna invite her in. I don't know what happened. Okay, so I invited her. They started by gaining that particular market.
What one somebody do?
They started by gaining that particular market, right? And I saw it coming parce que pour faire cheveux naturel, li pral mande ou que ou gen temps. That's the first thing. Li pral mande ou pour gen studio qui cater avec cheveux naturels là. Ça c'est deux. Li pral mande que studio qui gen cheveux naturels yo capable travailler avec tout type de cheveux naturels parce que tout le monde pas le même type de cheveux naturels. Et en dedans tête nous avons différents types de cheveux. Devant tête ou gen doit soit mi-temps tête ou gen derrière tête ou on l'autre genre. So li pral mande yon étude de cheveux à que peut-être que en pile studio they never did that. And then now, moun yon ti jan paresseux dans cheveux naturels là, which I understand parce que, listen, the fro is nice, but if you're gonna have the fro, that means that you really have to care for the hair. At night, for ou wettre ses cheveux. Like at night, you need to have a regime. Like you need to have a bonnet. Le matin, faut que ou capable fluff cheveux. Faut que ou capable faire différents styles dans cheveux. C'est pas tout le monde qui toujours veut faire un fro. So there needs to be the type of hairstyles that we are doing. Do we love those hairstyles? And also what you talk about, which is kind of like, for Haiti, which is crazy because we are African, they never taught us about loving our hair, Yo pas apprendre ça. So, le movement là commence à prendre and it get à prendre. I seen so many people just couper tout cheveux, faire cheveux naturels, tout ça. But it's kind of like, still, te gen moun qui feel like, est-ce que belle? Do I look beautiful? Est-ce que coiffure ça professionnel? Because gen ça tout, comme si le moun n'a pas le bureau, le moun n'a senti que li pral on côté. Est-ce que li senti que coiffure la fait? Est-ce que de tikouri is professional? Est-ce que tikouri is even professional pour rentrer en côté? So, it really, it's also about our self-love journey. Do we love ourselves? Do we love what we're doing with our natural hair? And it's, for someone who, I don't want to say like, I've always been mainly big on hairstyles because that's where I thrive. I just get so bored with one style. But just to see how the wigs have gained that particular market, I do feel like some of us who have been doing the natural hair, either in business or, as fun, but who's been in it, we have to reflect about the fact that nous perdu marché ça complètement. So how do you answer that question?
Um,
Let me think.
well, I mean, I think I think, to be honest, I think you said it all, right? You said it all. It's just a matter of, I think people just go with what the next movement is. What's the next, what's in style now. So unfortunately, when you have something going on, like you said, you have to keep fighting and gumming up with the next best thing, because you will have people that's gonna outgrow you with certain things that you do. So I think you said it very well. There's no need to talk about it more. I just think it's that, right? Especially now in Haiti, they have all kind of, like you said, hair salon doing all kind of things, and the lace and all that. But that's just something that, that's like another topic that I think we need to elaborate on, because I have some of the viewers, I'm sorry, that are asking a few questions and that are texting. They want to hear more about the products. And I think me and I just said, Bianca, can you tell me about your products, please, since I have my natural hair? And so, okay. So do you mind if we just go straight to that?
I don't mind, but like we're gonna touch on anything, everything. Tell them that they don't have to worry. They can stick around because we're gonna touch everything. But I do want to hear, because I do feel like it's important. Maybe in this conversation that we're having, we're gonna gain people back to understand
Mm-hmm.
the importance of going back to loving our natural hair. But because, in this conversation, what we are doing now is probably, you know, defining or retourner, making sure that now everybody's doing the wig. But, you said you not your hair around. Who's talking about you? Is it because there are no products available? Is it because the marketing is not done in the manner that it's supposed to be done? I mean, this is a market that we've lost, so we have to, analyze, because for me, I've already enumerated, in my opinion, I just feel like those competitors, because I saw it coming a mile away. What they started to do was they were making a lot of natural hair wigs. That's how they started. They were not necessarily making all those like bundles and those lace, and no, because the natural hair movement was so big. What they did, they created a lot of wigs. I remember when I used to go to the salon in Haiti back then, I had mohawk, and my hair would be so big. A lot of people always thought that I was wearing a wig, which I didn't even know that at the time they were making those type of wigs. But c'est pour ça que même qui teach about competitors, c'est pour ça que competitor, they are literally observing your business. So don't worry, people can just stick around. It's going to be a rich conversation. We're going to be talking about all that, but I do feel like it's important, because this is a conversation. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to, share
Your
with other people.
your
It's so
connection is
important.
not that great, my love. Your connection, sometimes
Oh,
the audio
sorry.
is not clear. Yeah, we don't hear you. We don't hear you well. And somebody said, "Oh, we're losing viewers." Okay, I guess because some people
Oh,
were.
so tell me, just okay. So answer them, Bianca. You can answer them about your product line. Can you answer them about your product line and what you have available for the natural hair?
Okay, so for the products, we have the hair pomades and we have the hair oils. The hair pomades, as you know, when you were there, we didn't even have any of our own products, right? Then we did have products, but the logo is just the only thing that changed, and we kind of have different flavors now. So our hair pomade, which I bought one of them now, the hair pomade. This is how it looks. It's about 8 ounces, and our base is made with shea butter, so it's very smooth. If you could see, it's like very, you see. So this pomade is used for hair and it's used for skin. This is what I do my twist out with. Because as you know, we always have to keep our hair very hydrated, because when we have coarse hair, kinky, curly hair, if it's not really hydrated, then you won't have the definition you're looking for. Then you won't have the length, and you won't have so many different things for your hair to look healthy. So the pomade that we have different flavors. We have it in chocolate, we have it in hibiscus, and we have it in tea tree. So this is the hibiscus one, and then the tea tree is, so this is the pink, this is the brown, and the tea tree is the green, which I don't have it here with me. But all it is each of them have a different function, but all three of them, what they do is they hydrate your hair. And also it's good to define your twist out. But the chocolate, when you put on your body, the chocolate essential oil that my husband and I use in it is to get rid of the blackheads that you have. So like any black like tache noir that we have on our skin, then it's when we made a research that's really good to help you with that. The hibiscus back in the days before they had like conditioner, shampoo, they used to use the hibiscus to infuse it, the flower, and to actually help you detangle your hair. So we use that, the hibiscus flower, we use the powder, and then that's what we use it. So this one is really good to detangle your hair. And the tea tree is really good for people that have, let's say, eczema on their skin, or that have the, how do you call it, the dandruff in their hair, in their scalp. It's really good for dry scalp. So all three of them, like I said, is good for hydration, it's good to moisture, but each of them has a specific function that they do. Now we also have our hair oil, which is called the miracle oil. The miracle oil, we call it the miracle oil because the story behind that, we had a client that came when we were in the midst of creating it with different oils that we know have worked and make miracles in our lives. We use it for her because she had like une chute on the side of her head. So we told her to come. Obviously, you're not going to see results in the first time, second visit, third visit. But if you follow with us for the next 90 days, then we're guaranteed to give you results with this oil. So she followed with us. She came every Saturday. She came. And after maybe 3-4 months, she saw the results. So out of that, we called it the miracle oil. And that's how we started putting it to the mushy. So those are the main products that we have. But if we do go to the website, which I could put it on the screen here, is you will see that we have soaps also, and we have hairbrush, which right now we ran out, but we do have a hairbrush also, the specific one that's there to detangle your hair without adding any knots or without breaking your hair. So those are the different things that we have, but our main products are the ones that I just showed you.
Okay. Now, Bianca, where did the idea of creating products came from? Like, why the products? Because as you mentioned, when you used to shop at them, which I really want to let people know that Worthy, I don't care if someone said, but Worthy was the only store that I went in Port au Prince where the saleswoman knew what she was talking about. The most frustrating thing that you could ever experience in Haiti is to try to shop and the people who are there trying to sell you, they don't know anything about the product. Sometimes those are a lot of like foreign products. They can't even pronounce the name. They can't differentiate the shampoo from a conditioner, a pomade from anything. So Revive was, let me give Revive and you could check because Revive, you were not there. You know, you had that one lady who used to work with you. She bought you, and I don't think you remember her. She knew everything about each of the products. At the time, you guys carried a lot of things too. She knew. I would ask so many questions, and she knew about that. So that's why I shopped. It really wasn't because I knew. It really wasn't because of that. It was because when I went there, you know, the saleswoman, she knew about the products. She knew what she was telling me. She knew where I would tell her, okay, this is what I'm trying to have the product do here, and this is the type of woman. That also opens the door that at the time you were also doing a self development, you know, with your employee because not many people are doing this in Haiti. Not many people are investing in their client. They just hire people and they don't really give them the instruction. So it's very, very frustrating for clients to walk into a store and trying to shop, but you don't even know what you're selling me. To me, it's just the most frustrating thing. So that's why I was like, yeah, I'm gonna shop at Revive because I know that I'm in and out. The lady, she'll know what chat, so that also opens. So tell me a little bit about where the idea came from to actually create your own product. And also, I want to say something. Your daughter's hair is super, super long. When I knew her, her hair wasn't that long. So
Yes.
is it that miracle that you're using, girl? Because I'm gonna have to start buying it. Is that it? That you're using for her hair?
For many years, she's only used our products. So when I used to do her hair, she was only using our products. So I know that now, she's older. She's using other things. She's doing her own hair, which her hair is still very thick and long. But yeah, she's used Wivi's products. And one of the things that I must say also is that Wiviv was the first natural hair salon to open in Pétionville. So that was one thing that when we came out in magazine, because I know that they had something in Delma, but we were the first natural hair, one of the first natural hair salon to open, period. But not the first one. But we were the first one to open in Pétionville. So that back then was a big hit and was a big, thing for the women that were around, from all sorts of avenues that were coming to us. But the hair products came out of the needs, doing the people's hair, just noticing what was lacking, the moisture, and was noticing the products with the sulfate and the parabens that had in it, just doing a little research to know what needs to be created to be helping these women with those kind of problems that they were having. The main issue is the hydration and the moisture. If you don't have that, then your hair is going to look like, grayish. It's not going to look healthy. It's not going to look, and especially in Haiti where there's a lot of poussière, so your hair is always looking like it's not like shining, so we knew that we had to create a product like the oil where the hair would look alive, it would look shiny, and the pomades as well, which is very good for that. So that's where that came from.
What about, you know, did you instruct your employee at the time, like about, like, I want us to now jump into the business aspect. I still consult, I do business consultation for Haiti. Still encouraging people to move to Haiti. I'm still, even now, still encouraging people to understand that this is an open market, this is a market that needs to happen. And yes, Weave was one of the first, natural hair. So that's big. You have to consider yourself a pure. So I think that there's a lot that you can share with people about that aspect of the journey, because I still consult, and no matter what, people are still just waiting for Haiti to have some type of peace to move back to Haiti, or trying to figure out what do I do? How do I go about it? So tell us a little bit about, you know, the business aspect, like where did the funding come from? How did you support yourself? Was it easy? How was it to deal with employees? Where did you market? But even now, let me let you answer the question, but now I look at everything that you do, but you have so many competitors. There are so many people who are, doing a lot with, natural hair or just hair in general, products, basically. And, do you feel like you're not doing enough, as far as like the marketing strategy for the miracle oil? Because I'm just now finding out that we're using as a miracle oil, whereas there are so many people who are talking about, what they have going on and they're pushing, they're mostly using TikTok. They're not necessarily on Instagram. So, first of all, what's the plan? I know I'm giving you a lot of questions, but
Your
these are all questions that I have for
connection is
you.
not clear at all. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I
Can you
can
hear me
hear
a
you.
little
That
bit?
breaks out a lot. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry
That's
about
okay.
that. It's raining, so probably.
That's okay.
I was saying that, can you walk us through the business aspect of Wiviv? How was it? How did you get your fundings?
So the business aspect, and I think I mentioned it earlier, it was not easy, especially moving back to a country where I didn't know really the functioning of building a business. It's just, when you don't have really a credit in Haiti, as we know here too, but it's a little bit different in Haiti. I had to go that route, and what was offered to me was not the what exactly the amount that I needed. So I had to start with what I had at the time, and that's why I told you we were very authentic, very organic. where we just went with the means. We just went with what we had. You asked the question if it was easy. No, it was not easy. And I think that's what kept us going, is just going through the challenges of it not being easy. But the number one thing that I always said was we have clients now. We have people that depend on us. We have people that comes to us every Saturday and every Sunday or every Friday. They leave their kids. So we have to, no matter what we have to always remain. It's not about being fancy. It's not about being that, but we're just here to care for people's hair. So as long as we know what we're doing, so it was always training the employees, always giving them the updated information, and I was telling them what the benefits of those products were so that they could educate the client themselves and tell them how to continue doing this when they go home, because it's not just coming to us every week, but there's some kind of work that you got to do also when you go home, such as drinking water, eating healthy. All those things does impact your hair and your skin. So we were always continuing to educate our clients, not just coming and having them come in and paying us and so forth. So we built like a relationship, a family among all of us, because we had some clients that were always coming to us. So it's just the education part was big, educating them on what the products were, the role of each product, and just always remaining focused no matter what. People will come and criticize, oh, why faut que ça c'est un bouquet pour me laver cheveux? We always refrain and tell them, listen, we understand, but what are you here for? You're here because you need your hairstyle. You're here because your hair is breaking. So you're at the right place. So we always made them feel that, let's go back to the reason why you're here. You may not be having the best looking hair salon, but I want you to know that you have the best hair product, because our product is giving you the results that you're looking for.
Excellent. Bianca, would you counsel someone to open a business in Haiti?
No, not right now. I wouldn't, but I don't even have enough information also, since I'm not living in the country. I don't have enough information to even counsel someone on what to do in the country right now. But from what I know from being a business owner there, I know that right now things are very difficult, especially certain areas of industries. I know that food is probably something that's still big in Haiti, but I know that other industries are suffering. So personally, I would not advise someone, but it really depends on what you are looking to do and what the needs are, because you always have to assess the needs, right? So if the needs are food or the needs are this, then you could go towards it. But for me, myself, I know that Waviv right now is closed for the hair products, but Waviv is actually gonna, so the location is actually gonna, next month they're gonna start selling food there. Someone is gonna start having food there and so forth, but not with the name Waviv, but just saying this for the people that go by and see a new thing going on. But Waviv will come back. I know that Waviv will come back. But for now, you know, that's where I'm at. But Waviv does continue to exist. We can ship to anywhere in the United States, or you know, in Canada. And if there's some people in Haiti, I do have some of my products in some stores in Haiti if you want to find them. So and I could provide you that information also so that we could share that.
Do you want to share right now, like where people can go,
Yes.
like the stores, where they
I
can
know
go?
that Orchide Boutique is one of them. Orchide Boutique is in Pétionville. I'm not really sure of the address now, but that's something that I could later on put on my page. But Orchide Boutique is one of the place that sells the hair products. I do have another location in Delma. I can't think of the name right now. It's a pharmacy. But I do promise to go back and just add it into my the bio so that the viewers are able to know where to find it, or anybody could DM me and I could give them the information as well.
Great.
And we also have somewhere in Pelé that another pharmacy where we sell. We also have a pharmacy in Petroville, which I can't think of the name, but I think Waviv's manager is on the line now, and she could also give us the information. Ben, si a sou sou ligne là, écris sous chat là, s'il te plaît, kote moun yo ka jwen produit Waviv yo. OK? Parce que m konen ke gen moun kap mande kote yo ka jwen produit Waviv yo, comme Waviv fermé, sous chat là, s'il te plaît, marquez sous chat là, kote moun yo ka jwen produit Waviv yo Haïti, s'il te plaît. Yeah.
Nice. Now, Bianca, you said that you are a consultant. I am really curious to know the area that you consult in, and if you can just tell us a little bit about that, I think that would be awesome.
Sure. So recently I opened my own placement agency, and what that means is my background. Like I told you, I am a social worker. So I had a travel agency as a social worker in Boston in 2021, and there I developed many relationships with multiple providers, and they were very satisfied with the results that were giving at the time from my duties. So a lot of them had contacted me and asked me how we could work together. So with that information, I created this agency where I help many different industries such as rest homes, nursing homes, home health agencies, private aid agencies. What we do there is we help them look for patients. So if you have a nursing home that has a capacity of 40 beds and they only have 30 patients and now they have 10 bed opens, they need to know where to find those patients. So we created a whole system where we develop a relationship with many hospitals. So we have over 600 social workers in our network, and the social workers are the main pillars in this because they're the ones that discharge the patients and they're the one that usually look for placement for them. So a best person to be connected to are the social workers and the case managers. So we created a network, and they send us referrals. So with those referrals, my team and I, we assess each patient and we see which one will be a good match for XY home. So that's what we do.
You are in the medical field, and one of the things that I've experienced with my aunt being elderly is that, thank goodness we have a lot of support. But do you feel like this is also a area that Haiti would need in terms of having support for older people? Although probably in the countryside it's different, because like Nièce, Petite, Belle-Fille, Belle-Sœur, it's not, in my opinion, needed as much. But do you find that maybe at Port-au-Prince, we would need something of the sort in that?
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely believe that Haiti needs more resources. A lot of people are struggling in so many ways, whether that's physically or medically, because there's a lot of lack of resources. Due to that, some people end up not in the best situation or the best health, right? So with that said, we know that we're in need of hospitals. We know that we're in need of nursing homes or assisted living facilities that are actually structured in the right way to provide the right care. So absolutely.
Wow, I could keep you on and on, but I know tomorrow is a school day. You probably
Yes.
have to like do some
Yes.
things. But I really am very appreciative of you being here with me. I
You
enjoyed. I really want to thank you for participating into the conversation as well as for giving me a lot of information for my grieving process and my grieving journey. Forward to being with you to hopefully see you very soon here. And thank you, Bianca. Thank you so
Of
much.
course. And I want to thank you for being very patient with me, very persistent and insisting that I make it here because of my own struggles as well. I was kind of being not reluctant to be here, but just, I explained to you I had so many prior engagements, but deep down inside of me also, I was kind of like, you know, not fearing, but kind of like, feeling like I was not ready to be vulnerable in front of so many people, but I'm glad I did it because like I told you, that's my mission. And I will continue to do it just to be as vulnerable as I can to share my experience so that I'm able to make an impact in others' lives. So I do thank you for having me here today and allowing me to talk to the audience and having hopefully some kind of impact and helping someone in this call. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Say hello to your kids, family, and have a beautiful, beautiful evening. Thank you so
You as well.
much.
Thank you. Bye bye.